Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of the 2024-25 season of the Stakehouse. As always, we'll be discussing every single Premier League fixture coming up this weekend, providing tips and analysis across the board. I'm Conal McCabe. I'm joined once again by my slightly under the weather co-host, Lucas Tazinski, playing through the pain of man flu. Lucas,
It's not man flu. No, it's called hay fever. Ever heard of it?
hay fever. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we'll call it without some inverted
Yeah.
fingers going on there. Anyway, well done for playing through the pain, whatever it is. Let's get straight into the fixtures. We're starting with two cracking games on Friday night, and first up we've got there he is in full flow. We've got Aston Villa versus Tottenham. I'll chat first and let you collect. So basically, I think that ultimately the form of Tottenham and United is just reminiscent of the Premier League seasons that they've had. Absolutely dreadful. Obviously, all of the eggs in the Europa League final basket right now. I don't think either of these games matter to these clubs. They're currently sat in 16th and 17th, so they're effectively dead rubbers. Tottenham looked really, really poor against Palace, and I think that Villa will be comfortable here. As you know, I've got a lot of faith in Villa at Villa Park. I've been trying to find an angle to try and get them on side, and they do start quickly in games such as Newcastle very recently. And I like the odds against play on Aston Villa halftime full-time here, which is 2.1. I think that's reasonable value. I think that Villa won't be messing around. We're going to talk about the top five race in a few minutes. I think Villa will be really sensing an opportunity with Chelsea and Forest to play each other. More about that later. And this is must-win for them. And I think they'll look to get business done early. So putting up halftime, full-time, 2.1 as an official tip.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tottenham are just focusing on the Europa League final, right? Like the lineup they put out today was just like massively rotated, but they just looked like they didn't care. Like Palace, honestly, just like smashed them apart.
Yep.
XG wise, Tottenham only created 0.68 at home, whereas Palace created over 3. Like they were just honestly like it should have been way higher than 2-0. Obviously, I backed Palace 0 and age handicap, so I was like buzzing for that. But yeah, myself, I don't really have a bet. But yeah, I mean, talking briefly about the top 5 push. I think this is a quite easy fixture for Villa.
Yeah.
I expect them to win this, and then after that they have United away, which look United. I mean,
it's the two perfect teams to be playing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Especially after the Europa League, right? Even if they win or lose, they're still going to be. They're not going to be fully focused, right? Last game of the season, whereas Villa are going to be going all out. So I can't see Forest coming back into it, to be honest. I think they've completely bolted it today against Leicester.
Yeah. So you fancy Villa to make it then?
Yeah.
All right, we're in agreement on that. Very good. Let's move on to the next fixture, Chelsea versus United. What's the model saying?
Chelsea versus United. I mean, it's difficult because, I mean, Chelsea are by far the favourites by 0.82 XG. So, like, they're expecting to win comfortably. Saying that, they didn't really play well against Newcastle until, weirdly, they went down to 10 men and they were all over them. But look, United are going to be rotating massively, right? Similar to Tottenham, they're focusing on the Europa League, right? So I don't really have a bet here, but I mean, I expect Chelsea to win this quite comfortably.
Yeah, as a United fan, normally I might say something like I've watched from behind the curtains with this one, but to be honest with you, I might just not watch it all because I just don't see anywhere that anything good comes from this fixture. Again, you know, looking at the game that they've just had against West Ham, it's the age-old problems.
Yeah.
Actually, quite promising XG, but not enough end product to show for it. And while there's problems all over the pitch, the most pressing issue is to buy a striker to dovetail with Højlund for him to learn from.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%. That's the most pressing problem. 100%.
But
Look, I mean, if we're generating over 2.2 XG and not scoring, I mean, it speaks for itself as the biggest problem.
Look, I think you just need to give. I said this before. You need to give Hoyland like a run of games, right? It should have been. It should happen 10 games ago. The manager should be like, "Look, you're my number one striker up top, and I'm going to play you every single game." That'll give him confidence, right? If the guy barely plays, like, how do you expect him to like get?
But he's
traction?
getting that run now. He's getting that run of fixtures. If you look at
Yeah,
his,
so you need to give him a bit of time, right? I mean, the
I
team
think
around him is not exactly great, is it?
no, it's not. But ultimately, again today, him personally, 1.3 worth of XG. But I think he's a promising striker. I do, and I'm not saying somebody to come in necessarily ahead of him, but maybe somebody age old to come in and learn from. I even think it sounds a crazy shot, but even somebody like Chris Wood through the door, and somebody that like that.
No way, Chris Wood, really?
Yeah, 100%. Not to come in and play first choice for United, but to come in and, he's a very canny forward, Chris Wood, isn't he? He knows exactly what to do and where to be, and he's just got that experience that Hoyland lacks. Hoyland needs a player like that to learn from, I think. Anyway, let's. I think comfortable Chelsea win. We move on to Everton Southampton. Just on this, I mean, congrats to Southampton on a brilliant point against City. That's not facetious in the slightest. It was a really tough game and tough fixture. And poor Southampton, right? They've now avoided the worst ever Premier League record. But every week they get battered week in and week out and they get absolutely slated, right? They put together a great game plan to get a point against City by hook or by crook. And Guardiola comes out saying that they didn't even try to play football. It's just not very classy. Like, of course they're not going to come out and play football. Because if they're going to come out and play football against Man City, they're going to get creamed. So why are they ever going to go out and play football? Of course they're going to give City a game they don't want. And I think for Guardiola to say that when ultimately City are probably still going to make top 5 anyway, it doesn't massively hinder things for them.
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised. I think Guardiola's better than that.
I mean,
ultimately, I think well done to them.
Yeah, I mean, look, City still created over 1.5 XG, right? So, like, they couldn't score from that. So it's not like, it's not like they didn't create anything. They just didn't take the chances.
So maybe that's where Guardiola's focus should be, right? Instead of looking
at just be like, look, another day we would have taken our chances, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's not move on. Let's get a prediction on the game. Because I've got another official tip. I think that with the shackles off for Southampton and that monkey off their back in terms of the unwanted record, I think they'll come out and play with quite a lot of freedom here. The emphasis will be on Everton to get after them at home, and I think it'll be goal heavy. So I think the even money on offer, actually slightly better even money on the exchange, on offer of over 2.5 goals is very fair. So both teams to score at 2.05 is my official tip. Okay, so we move on to look at West Ham versus Nottingham Forest. I mean, the owner on the pitch. What is going on here?
I mean,
what's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really professional. I mean, you can see he's obviously raging. I mean, everyone's raging. Every Forest fan's raging, right? There was like, basically, they've dropped a lot. Last 2 games have got 2 points, right? But fair enough. A point against Palace, they got quite lucky, but they should really be winning this game, right? And I feel like because of it, I feel like they might not make. I don't think they're going to make top 6 actually. Next game they got West Ham, which we're going to talk about here. But then after that, then they got Chelsea at home. So look, Chelsea might probably just need a point out of that, right? Perhaps, maybe, who knows? Like depending on the fixtures, maybe they might actually need a win. So to be honest, like the run-in is actually quite interesting from the league being like relegation wrapped up, but like the charge for second to fifth is actually quite interesting, even for sixth, right? So, but going back to the game, I've said this for a long time now that Forest can't sustain the underlying metrics that they have, and they're going to fall off. Last few games, you could see that, and I feel like this is a good game for West Ham to get a result. So, I backed West Ham at plus a quarter at 1.84, but it's actually come crashing in at 1.7 straight after the game. But what I'd suggest is you can still get West Ham 0 on Asian handicap at evens, and I think that's still value. So I'd recommend that, and I'll make that my official bet. So basically, what that means is, look, if it's a draw, you get your money back, but really want West Ham to win.
Exactly that. So effectively, as a draw no bet. Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree in terms of the game. I think that West Ham will probably edge it. As I say, I know your views on Forest metrics, so happy to go with that. Just to finish off, the owner situation. I mean, it's weird actually. There's a lot of Forest fans on the socials kind of backing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like quite a few. Yeah, in terms of saying, look, it's good that the owner's got standards. We've bottled the last few games, this and that. And it's just kind of like, look, I'm all for good standards and being optimistic and being positive. But the job that Nuno's done this season with a squad that was one of the favourites for relegation is absolutely insane. And I think for the owner, if you want to have that sort of conversation in private, then you have it. But for the owner to do what he did was just so disrespectful to Nuno. And you can put it, the way that Nuno handled himself. In the time when the chairman's shouting, he's got to deal with the owner suddenly being there on the pitch, shouting in his face. And the way that he dealt with it with Sky afterwards in the interviews and stuff, he did so well, Nuno. Like, he had so much class. And it's not just a moment of madness, even though Nuno tries to downplay it. This guy's not just like randomly said something out of turn. He's walked all the way down from the director's box to the pitch. This was a business decision to do this. And it's so disrespectful to Nuno after the job that he's done. And, he deserves what he gets a little bit, I think. I think it was really, really, really dreadful. And Nuno's so much better than that.
Yeah. I mean, he put out a statement, like obviously just some generic statement about, frustrated with the result, etc.
Yeah, but there was not even, fine, he didn't want to apologise, but there was no even look. Well, I guess he did give small backing to Nuno within that statement, but even so, for me, it's not really enough. Let's talk about Brentford versus Fulham, because you've got another tip here, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, you bottled it.
No, I haven't bottled it. Well, perhaps, I don't know. I can see Fulham being some small value here at plus a half. Plus a half at 2.06. Basically, all that means that Fulham need a draw. I'm just not sure about this game. Obviously, it's a derby. Get your cucumber sandwiches out and all that, Victoria sponge cake, etc. Not much of a derby, but it's a derby. But yeah, look, Brentford, like, really good form at the moment. Like, I think momentum's massively on Brentford's side. So I am going to give this a miss, but I feel like Fulham plus a half is a small value. But obviously, me being a Brentford fan, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, but for all the non-Brentford fans out there, should be backing it or not?
No.
Okay, there you go. Almost.
Oh, if you do want to bet on a game,
that's the angle
I'd say that.
Very close to jumping.
Or by my hat trick.
Very, very close to jumping off the fence, Lucas Dazinski, but we didn't quite get you there. All right. To be honest with you, I think there'll be goals in this game. I think it should be an entertaining watch. And I think don't downplay the derby element. These fans do not like each other. It could be spiky. It could be feisty. Don't be afraid to look into the card markets for this one as well. Let's talk about an absolute cracker next on the schedule. It's Leicester versus Ipswich. What have you got for this one? What's the model saying?
Nothing. I got quite an even game. I got Leicester 0.12 goals better. So look, I expect pretty much an even game, probably a draw.
Hang on, you've got Leicester 1.2 goals better.
No, 0.12. Sorry, did I
0.12. Okay.
That
makes sense.
My hay fever. Look, I got no bet on this. Like, it'd been good if like this game meant something.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's
pretty,
it's what it
pretty,
is, right?
pretty scathing analysis. Yeah, no, I get it though. Again, I find these games quite interesting in terms of this is a real shop window opportunity for a lot of
Yeah,
players. So who can stand up
and
and produce
CISO.
and see so maybe. I mean, the other player I'm really interested in, and he's won me a bit of money this season, is Buonanotte for Leicester. For some reason, he's
Scores today.
managed to not be part of the starting lineup, which I just find absolutely baffling because I think he's a really good player. I think he's definitely a Premier League player, and he should get snapped up when they go down. But it's very odd in terms of why Rude isn't playing him, and I just wonder what's going on behind the scenes there. In
What
terms
do
of
you
this,
reckon is going to happen with Rude? Is he going to get sacked or what? He's just waiting. He does want to resign, right? He's
he's
waiting
not going
for
to
the payday.
resign, and they're going to amicably part company at the end of the season. Surely, it's
Yeah.
all that makes sense. In terms of the game, I'd probably give a small edge at home to Leicester. But again, real opportunity for players here rather than clubs, I would say. Arsenal versus Newcastle, I've got an official tip on
Okay.
because I think this game is one that both sides, if you offered them a draw right now, they would take it. It gets Arsenal a point closer.
Yeah.
Again, ties up Champions League football for them. After Newcastle's win at Chelsea today, they're in a very nice position.
Yeah.
I think if Newcastle really wanted to win this game, I think Arsenal are there for the taking a little bit at the moment. However, I think Newcastle, if you offer them a point, as I say, I think they'd be happy enough with it. And when both sides would take a point, it's always worth looking at the draw market. And the draw at 3.8, I think it's fine to be having a swing on this. I don't see any way that I think this is a draw at least 1 in 3 times, let alone 3.8 times. So happy to swing on the draw at 3.8.
Yeah. I got my model has Arsenal 0.4 goals better. Rice didn't make their squad today against Liverpool, but
They
Arsenal,
missed him.
yeah, Arsenal played well. I know Liverpool's probably the head's not there, right? And they don't really care anymore. I mean, they were 2-0 up and then bottled it, right? So it's kind of frustrating, probably for them. But yeah, I think Arsenal gonna edge this, and I feel they're gonna win it. I think they will win this. I don't think it's going to be a draw. But saying that, I don't have a bet this game. Talk about Newcastle. I think Newcastle will be happy with a draw, but I think they're going to be going for it, right? Because every game now, like, it's so tight. They need to like go for it in a way, right? Last game of the season they got against Everton at home, so yeah, probably.
This is
probably
it.
won't
This is
be
why I think a draw here and then expect to beat Everton at home and they'll be 4 points out of 6.
Yeah,
They
but
won't
then
look at that as a bad.
why not just go for it, right? And try get the 3 points. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like a point could be good.
I think they've got a lot more well, to balance out the Arsenal 0.4 extra. I just do think Newcastle have got way, way, way more firepower than Arsenal. Well, maybe not way, way more, but a little bit more. The likes of Isak up top and, I don't know if Gordon's playing, but Harvey Barnes in good form as well. But yeah, there we go. An official tip. Brighton versus Liverpool. What's the model saying?
I mean, you can't really look into it, I think, because of the motivation factor of Liverpool. Got Liverpool 0.37 goals better than Brighton. Saying that, I don't really have a bet on this. If anything, Brighton will be more motivated, right? Because they need to get top 8 for a potential European tour, along with Brentford. So, yeah, I mean, who knows what team Liverpool's going to put out. When the lineups came out, Liverpool price drifted out, but then it massively came in towards the end. So look, the market does like Liverpool still, but after the last 2 games against Chelsea and Arsenal, I don't think I'll be backing them again this season. Just happy just to watch this game as is.
Same. Don't have an angle. I mean, what I would say is, if I was gonna lean either way, I might at the prices lean ever so slightly towards Brighton here. As you say, the game's much more important to them. Liverpool started pretty well against Arsenal, but again, there was complacency creeping in the second half. All right, Palace versus Wolves.
This is
Again, will
really,
Palace start to rest players at this point? Is what you're trying to work out with a cup final in mind. But they still have potential of Europe as well for themselves, right?
I mean, should we talk about the Palace City game, or is that going to go at the end?
Well, we've got that's what the FA Cup's not until the end of the season, is it? I know you've got an angle, so let's talk about that at the end. Let's talk about this after the last
Well,
two.
not in season. It's on a Saturday.
Is it okay? I mean, feel free to cover it here.
Yeah, let's cover Palace City first, because then we can go into the other fixtures, right?
Okay,
Cool. So
here you go, folks. A first FA Cup final tip. Early doors coming to you live. The floor is yours.
Palace, look, I think they're incredible this year. They're playing really well. I think just every single player just like is kind of perfect for this team, almost like the way Glasner set up. They should be significantly higher than the league I think then if they, apart from the slow start, if they didn't have that slow start, they'll be probably pushing the Champions League. I got them rated like top 5 team at the moment, the way they're playing. I think Palace are huge value here, and I've backed them plus 0.75, and so that basically means if Palace lose by a goal, we get half our money back. So they just need to draw. They don't need to win the whole thing. They just need to draw in 90 minutes to win our bet.
And that would win us half money, right?
No, full win.
Full win on a draw.
Yeah, 0.75.
Okay.
Plus 0.75.
Okay. But it's not double chance, is it? So if Palace lose by one, we're
Lose half your stake.
half the stake for a 1-goal loss. Okay. I mean, I know you've gone double stakes on this, without revealing too much information to our
2 points.
devoted
This is probably nap of the season, maybe.
nap of the season. I was going to ask you that. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know. So there you have it. Get on Palace. You expect that price to come in as well, right?
Yes, I do. I got the price at 2.05 earlier today, straight after the game. The price is now evens. So yeah, it's coming in. It's coming by 0.05 already. So I'd get on.
Excellent. All right. So that's, and then they obviously play Wolves this weekend.
So that's the thing. Like, I think the whole scheduling is a disgrace. They're playing the cup final on Saturday, and then they're playing the games 3 days later. It's like they got Sunday and Monday to recover, and then Tuesday. What if they win? They're going to obviously get on a piss all night. Then they're going to be hungover Sunday. Monday barely get back to themselves, and then play Tuesday. So I think Palace are huge value against Wolves, but I'm not going to put a bet on until I know what the result is. If they lose, or depending if they go extra time penalties, then I'll be probably back in Palace. But then again, don't know. I'll probably sway that one, but I'll probably just wait on the day till the lineups and make a decision then.
Fair. I mean, I'm swaying it as well, but if I was going either way, I'd probably lean towards Wolves just with the extra rest time. If Palace win, as you say, then the heads
Just
might
reference, I got Palace 1.14 goals better than Wolves.
Okay. So
I
you're seeing it as a
expect them
potential
to-
value angle. Okay.
Yeah, I expect them to.
And I think even so, you have to take into account if they win the cup, then the heads are going to be a little bit.
I mean, if
worse
they
for
win the
wear.
cup, then I think.
But they also,
calm down.
if they lose, right, then also they're going to be a little bit deflated as well. So
Yeah.
the FA Cup game as a whole doesn't help them in this fixture for me. If I was leaning anyway, I'd probably lean Wolves, but I'm not touching it from an official tipping standpoint. But yeah, that's my view on it. And kind of Man City find themselves in the same situation against Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, but I feel like City have a much bigger squad that they can probably call upon. But saying that, City haven't been great. Again, Bournemouth are, on the push to get top 8 again. So not sure about this game again. It's just the 2 day difference. I think it plays a massive significance, and look, I don't have any value as of today, even if the game's played like 4 days after or anything like that. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to sway it.
Yeah, I'm feeling the exact same. I don't have an official bet on it. I would again. I wouldn't be shocked if Bournemouth got something here. I'd be extremely wary of backing City at heavy odds on prices. So just be a little bit careful of that. The FA Cup game for me just makes it a difficult one to
Look,
go with.
saying that, like, this is a huge game for City. City could not get Champions League football.
Yeah, this
They
is true.
like it's actually it's actually mental, right?
Yeah,
So they need to get a result against these, or when they play Fulham away last game of the season.
I personally think they will be okay.
Yeah, they probably will,
But
but
you're
they're
right.
leaving it
They do
tight.
need this game, so it should be
Leaving it
meaningful
tight,
for
yeah.
them. So yeah, even so, Bournemouth not an easy opposition to come up against.
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit wary. I wouldn't be touching it myself. Let's do a summary. So I'll kick off. I've got Villa half-time, full-time against Tottenham at 2.1. I've got both teams to score in Everton Southampton at 2.05. And I've got the draw between Arsenal and Newcastle at 3.8. As always, we advocate single bets as the most optimal standpoint. But if you did want to combine those three selections in an ACCA, and I wouldn't necessarily put you off, you're looking at a price of 15 to 1.
Cool. Myself, I've gone West Ham 0 on the Asian handicap, so 2.03. So basically, if it's a draw, you get your money back. If West Ham win, we win. And then, as I said, my nap of the season, if you want to call it that.
Nap of the season. Woo!
Palace plus 3/4. So basically, obviously, night is a bet's only valid in 90 minutes, not extra time or penalties, anything like that. So basically, all that means is if it's a draw, we win. So just need to draw. We're not asking for Palace to win the cup. You know, they can lose in extra time. But if it's a draw, we win. If they win, we win. If they lose by one goal, then we get half the money back. So I can see Palace. Look, I think Palace should do the business here, which is frustrating for me because if Palace win, then Brentford don't get European football. So
Well, there's a silver lining to every cloud,
yeah, it's
isn't there?
emotional hedge, right? If City win, then I'm buzzing. So
And if they, and if they don't, at least you've got some pennies to line your pocket.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there you go. Nap of the season, hopefully following on in good form from a 100% tipping record last week, albeit only one tip. So yeah, no, nice work.
As good as your last tip.
This is very true. But yeah, all right, all good. So Premier League to look forward to, FA Cup final day to look forward to. By the sounds of our analysis, we should be in for an absolute corker there. Enjoy the football while it's still here, because in the summer it won't. And we'll see you next time for the very last season episode
Yeah,
of the
gonna be
Stakehouse.
emotional. So yeah.